masters of speed. This is Formula One.
Yo guys, welcome back. We're at Imola. It's an Inters and wet setup video. Let's go and find out what happened. So, first of all, I took the Imola setup that I created a few weeks ago. It's the dry one. And just basically tweaked that. So, what I did was, because it's set as an Inters race and not a wet, I took the original setup, took the wings, I took them both up by 2. So, I've took the front wing up by 2. If it was a wet setup, I would take it up by 4. And then the rear wing, I took up by 2. If it was a wet setup, I would take that up by 4. But there is no definitive wing or number that you can put to it. It's just what I do. If you need more wing, by all means, you add more wing. If it was a dry, then ended wet, I would put a dry setup on. If it was a wet or an inter, I would then just run a dry setup. But you guys have to do what you guys need to do as it's your race. But remember, there is no finite number that you put on the wings. Like I said, for Inters, I had 2. For wets, I had 4. In the old game, I used to add 3 for Inters. If it was in the old game again, I would add 5 for wet. But that's just what I do. You guys, make sure you change it to suit yourselves. On the transmission then. The only thing I've changed on the transmission, I've brought the diff on from, I think it was 60. I've brought it down to 25. I've kept the diff off exactly the same. You could bring that down a little bit more if you wanted to, but I kept it the same. Kept the engine braking at 100%. Obviously, you know, it does nothing to help the car stop. It's just solely down to recharge the battery. On the suspension geometry and shock, I've gone left, 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 left. Kept it exactly the same as I would usually, but yeah, I've not changed nothing there. Onto the suspension, and I've not changed anything apart from the roll bars. So I took the roll bar, I think it was 18, I took it to 15, and I think the rear anti-roll bar was at 14, I took that to 10. And the ride height was at 23. I took it to 25. Reason why I've changed the roll bars is simply because you don't need the car as stiff as usual for a dry setup. Because on a dry setup, you can really throw the car in, and you need it to stick. You need less roll. But when it's Inters, obviously you can't throw the car in because the car would just slide off. So I brought the front anti-roll bar down, the rear anti-roll bar down, and the reason why I've taken the front ride height up is if you are in the wet and the puddles forming, there's potential to aquaplane. But I kept the rear ride height the same, and yeah, I mean, by all means, you guys just change it. Just do what you need to do to get the setup working just right for you. Onto the brakes. Again, I've not changed the brakes. I don't feel a need to. You could probably take the pressures down by 1 if you need to. But remember, I wouldn't go too far forward on the brake bias because it will compromise locking up, etc. But then if you run ABS off or ABS on, there's no need to worry about it. Onto the tyres, and I've kept those exactly the same. You do need to be extra specially careful on the throttle in the Inters or wets, simply because the rear tyres overheat like crazy, and it's just a factor of the game. Unfortunately, you have to be so gentle in the Inters or wet conditions. Just bear that in mind. But yeah, this has been Imola. I really hope it helps you guys. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below, and do that good stuff. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.
Peace.